Coffee and Crochet. This is, I believe, my second podcast. So I'm excited to share some more things with you that I've been working on. Today has been a little cold and dreary, and I haven't felt the best today. I think I'm trying to get a cold, but I wanted to come on here and I wanted to share some of the things that I've made. I'm excited to show you. Let's see, the first thing I want to show you is a sweater I made for myself. I really like this sweater and I hope that you can see it. I'll button it part of the way at least so that you can see the details of it. This sweater, I got the pattern from City Farmhouse Studios. And when I first saw this, I thought, I will not be able to make this. But I did, and I really like it. And you can see the bottom stitching is very pretty, and it goes all the way around to the back. And that same stitching is the arms, which gives it a little bit of a lacy look to it. And in the body, it is, if I remember correctly, half double crochets into the back loops, and then the collar is that same lacy stitch, which I think is very pretty. I made a medium, and it fits very well, and I typically wear a medium in a sweater. Now, I did not use the yarn that was recommended because if I made this a few months ago, so if I'm not mistaken, the yarn that was recommended, she said that it was no longer available. So I used this Yarn Bee yarn. I bought this from Hobby Lobby, and it is an Alpaca Twist. And this yarn is 90% acrylic and 10% alpaca. It is very warm. I have worn it on some cold evenings, and it is very warm. This yarn is a little fuzzy, so it will tickle your nose. It does come off, so just, be aware of that. But I think it worked up really well. I think it made this sweater very beautiful, and it drapes well with what I would call a more lacier stitch. But it's really pretty, and I like it in the cream. Of course, you can do any color you want to. The next thing I'd like to tell you is that I think it took 8 balls of this yarn. Yes, 8 balls of this yarn, and this color is ecru. This cream color is called ecru in the Yarn Bee. And rating City Farm Studios pattern, it was very simple to follow. Very simple to follow. She also has a YouTube channel where she walks you through steps of the pattern to help you if you need it. But I really did not find that I needed that. So if you have crocheted at all, I would say this is probably more of an intermediate. You do have to add the sleeves. It may bump it up to a little higher level, but it wasn't difficult. I would say that sometimes I look at patterns and they can be overwhelming, but if you just take it a row at a time, step by step, then you can get through it if you're interested in making a sweater or a piece of clothing like that. Again, that was from Farmhouse Studios, and I will put the link below in the description box. Okay, the next piece I want to share with you, it's another piece of clothing. I made another sweater. These are actually my first sweaters that I've ever made, and I enjoyed making this one as well. This is a Christmas gift. This is all double crochet. All of the back, all is double crochet. And then there is ribbing, as you can see, all the way around the back, along each side, and along the bottom, and then of course on the sleeves as well. But the whole thing is a double crochet. You make the entire back panel, you make the front panels, and then you put them together, the shoulders and the sides. Made the sleeves and then joined them, and then the last thing that was done was making the ribbing all the way around the front panels. But I think this is a pretty sweater, and I hope that the person who is going to receive this sweater is going to love it. I think it turned out well. It feels good. The yarn that I used was a tweed yarn, and the pattern is a free pattern from Lion Brand, and of course it is a Lion Brand yarn that is used. And here's a picture. I didn't use the same color, but here's a picture of the sweater, which I think it worked up the same. So it looks the same except for the color. Again, I would say that this pattern is very easy to read, easy to follow. Again, just take it one step at a time. Follow the headings. Make sure that you just work in the size that you chose. I like to go in without giving anything away. When you're working with your sizes, a lot of times they will show you the size this way. I hope you can see it. Like they have the small, and then in the parentheses medium, large, and so on. So I made this in a size medium, so you have the small, and then the first inside the parentheses is a medium. So that means everywhere that you see the sizes, then that is what you will use. For instance, here is a 15, which would be the small, and then the 18 is the first number inside the parentheses, so that's the number I would use for the medium. And that is throughout. So what I did, just to make sure that I was paying attention, before I started crocheting this sweater, I went through and I circled with my pencil all the medium sizes. So when I got there, I didn't veer over and choose another number. And I like to do it in pencil so I can erase it and go back if I want to make another size. But also, this pattern shows you, it gives you a chart if you need it. I felt like the pattern itself was very descriptive. I didn't really need that, but it is there if it is, helpful. And this is made with Brand Re-Tweed yarn. They used, what color? In the picture that I showed you, they used the color Elmwood, which, as you can see, is darker than the sweater I made. My sweater's lighter. It is the same yarn, but my yarn is peanut butter is the color. But this is the yarn. It's a Re-Tweed yarn. It's a recycled tweed. So this yarn has been recycled. And this is the fiber was made in an eco-friendly process using nearly zero water, no dyes or chemicals, and close to zero CO2 emissions. So, if you are curious about which yarns are friendly to our earth, this is one of them that is. This is a 100-gram ball. It's 202 yards. It's 40% wool, 40% polyester, and 20% acrylic. And it is a 4 medium. And they do have several different colors. I was going to do the Elmwood, but they didn't have that in stock. So I went with the peanut butter, which I think is pretty too. But if you look closely, and you probably don't know if you can see it with me showing you. But where it is a tweed, it does have some little pops of color in it. Don't know if you can see here or not, if it will show up. But there are some little pops of color that give that tweed look to it. Anyway, it is a pretty yarn, and it does feel good. It does. It has a good feel to it. So I hope the person who is receiving that as a gift for me enjoys it, because I enjoyed making it for them. So those are 2 sweaters I've made. The first 2 sweaters I have ever made, so I'm venturing out and trying some new things, and I've enjoyed it. And I thought it would be difficult to do a garment, a sweater like that. It was not. So I told myself, so I'm telling you, don't be intimidated to try some new things. I've been making a lot of things for Christmas lately. So the next thing I want to show you is the pop around the plate, which I have talked about on my blog. It is a pattern from SistersinStitches. And they also have a YouTube channel. She has a YouTube channel. It's very good, with a lot of different designs. Again, this pattern is very easy to follow. And I think that the pop around the plate worked up nicely. You can use it as a coaster for your coffee or tea. You can use it for a candle holder, which is what I'm doing. I'm giving these to some people. I made this, and I'm giving them a candle so they can set their candle on it as well. So I think it's pretty, and I like all of the little pop stitches that go around it. Again, this isn't difficult to make, and the pattern's very easy. The yarn I used for this is that I love this cotton. I didn't use this color, obviously. I'm out of the color that I used. But I love this cotton. Also, I purchased this at Hobby Lobby. It's 100% cotton. I did try using some peaches and cream, ivory or cream color yarn, which I found it to be too stiff for this project. I like for it to be able to lay flat and to move and to give. So the peaches and cream 100% cotton does work. It is just a stiffer cotton. I prefer the softer cotton. So I love this cotton. Worked really well for this project. And again, I don't have the color, any color left because I used it all. I keep my Christmas presents. But it is a soft cotton, and since I'm giving it for somebody to put a candle on, or they put their hot cup of coffee on, I did it in cotton because that way it acrylic will scorch, and I think cotton would be easier to maybe spray with some shout and throw in the washer and clean more than acrylic. And they may have called for it in the, let me see what she recommends in the pattern. I do not see what her recommended yarn is in the pattern, but if you go to her site, I'm sure that you will find it, and there you will be able to print off her crochet pattern as well. So you can make those. They would be really pretty to make them even larger, to use them to actually put your dinner plate on at your table. And you could maybe do the center in one color and do all of the popcorn stitches maybe in another color. I don't know, maybe cream, maybe a gold, or maybe just do the last row in a gold just to make it pop. But I think you can make them smaller as well. But they're very nice, and they don't take very long to work up. But as if you've worked with popcorn stitches at all, you know that they take up a lot of your yarn because you're putting a lot of yarn into just that one popcorn. But I wanted to share that with you so that you could go and visit SistersinStitches. They do a very good job. She does a very good job, and she has a lot of very pretty things that she makes. Several things that I haven't even ever tried to make, but this is one that's a good place to start. Okay, the next item I made, I had not intended to make this, but a lady I work with had called me and asked me if I could make this, and I said yes, I can make it. So I'm actually probably going to give this to her tomorrow. Tomorrow's Monday, and at work. So what I made was, she wanted a mug sweater. She wanted two, one for her and one for her mother. So I made them, and I found the pattern for this mug cozy. This is it. This is the front, and then this is the back, which I think is just as pretty as the front. And then here's the little buttonhole, and then here's the button I sewed at the other end. And close it up, and there you go. You have your mug cozy. I don't know why I got quiet, but I think it turned out nice. Like I said, I have a lot of firsts, I think, lately. My first making sweaters, first making the mug cozy. But mug cozies are really easy. And if you have anyone who loves their coffee or tea, it's a really nice gift. So I used the pattern, and it is from My Sweet Potato 3. Is where the pattern come from, and it's called a Coffee Cozy Sweater Wrap. And as you can see, she has 4 colors that she has used, and I just used one color. But as you go through the pattern, each one of these cups she uses a different stitch. So I thought that was interesting. But since I was just making 2 cozy sweater wraps, I just made 1. But you can see she has, the first option is the regular single crochet. Second option is the single crochet worked in front and back loops, which is the one I chose. Option 3, single crochet worked in alternating front and back loops, and 4, textured single crochet. So they all look very pretty, and I do like this idea of having the different colors in a set of 4. I think that's very, very pretty or unique. But I just went with the green, the rosemary, the peaches and cream. It worked well with this, even though, as I just told you, this is a stiffer cotton, but it works well with this project. And I think it will wash well. And I didn't want too dark of a color, but I didn't want too light either, because you know when you drink coffee or tea, it always runs down the side and it's going to get on it. And I didn't want it to be something that you have to wash every time you use it. So I went with I think it looks like a sage green, but the color that Peaches and Cream calls it is rosemary. So we'll go with what they say. But here are the 2 coffee cozies that I made. I think she'll like those. And then this pattern did not have a coaster to go with it, so I went back to Lululoves Crochet, and I went to her blog, lululoves.co.uk, and she has a vintage coaster free crochet pattern, and this is the picture. So I made 2 of these with the same yarn to go with the coffee mug cozies. So here is the coaster, which is a little vintagey, and my coworker told me to make it a little prissy, is what she said, if I wanted to. So this is what I added to the coffee cozy to go with it, so they can have their coffee mug in their cozy, and they can put their mug on their beautiful coaster. I think it turned out nice. And again, like I said, I made 2 of them, and all of these are made from the Peaches and Cream rosemary color. I think those are going to be nice. I just need to get those in a gift bag and ready to go in the morning. And again, that came from Lululoves Crochet blog. I think I said that, but if I didn't. I do enjoy watching her YouTube channel. Another one I enjoy watching is Cherry Heart. I'm actually working on a blanket with that, and I'll show you that later. I've been working on it for a while, so who knows when I'll be able to show it to you. Okay, the next item is, I've talked to you before about the Granny Square scarf. I have not completed or even started it. Let me just say that. But I do want to tell you, or kind of show you, what I plan to do. I don't even have all my ends sewn in. So my plan is to make a scarf. And you know how a scarf, it will drape down one side and it'll drape down the other. Well, on one side, we're going to have 4 of these. Don't even know if you can tell. 4 of these. And then on this side, 4 more. And then I'm going to connect them. And my problem is I'm trying to decide what type of stitching to use to connect them. Because I don't want to just do the granny square. I'm thinking of maybe doing some type of fan stitch or shell. I think that will go good with that. But, so I'm really no further along. But I am thinking about it. It will get completed as long as I keep thinking about it and telling you that I'm going to do it. Okay, the next blanket I'm working on, the next thing I'm working on is a blanket. I am excited to get this blanket completed. However, I got the pattern from Crochet World. And if any of you are looking closely, you see that this edition is from December of 2021. So I've had this for a year. I've had this for a year, and I'm still working on the blanket. I think it's a beautiful blanket. Let me show you a picture of it from the magazine. So this is what it will look like. If any of you all have this subscription, then I'm sure you've seen it. So it says home, and it is out of ivory and navy. Okay, and it is labeled easy, and it is easy. It is easy. The hard part, mind you, is making. No, this still is easy. This still is easy. Okay, so it's still easy. We'll have to make 250 of these winter hexagons. Okay, so in the ivory and in the navy, and I have bags of these. Okay. So here's the navy hexagon, which the navy we had to make 24 navy, 28 side navies, 2 quarter hexagons in the navy. So anyway, so I have like a zillion of these hexagons laying around everywhere. If you see my shelves, I have them set up in tins so I don't have to keep recounting, and then I have bags of these because I have completed the navy. And so I just got tired of making them. So I stopped making them, but I wanted the blanket. So, you know, if I want the blanket, then I'm going to have to make the hexagons. And so my next thought was, well, let me go ahead and start connecting the ones that I have made, and that will inspire me, which it did. And so here is where I'm at so far, and I think it's going to be gorgeous. I got all these here, as you can see. It doesn't look gorgeous. As I come up, you can see where it is making the H, and so on, and so on, and so on. And look at all these beautiful ends I get to sew in when I get done with this project. Oh, I think I have overwhelmed myself, not with the level of difficulty, because this project is not at a high difficulty level, but I have overwhelmed myself with the amount of time that it takes to sew these in. But I do want to say that they did provide an assembly diagram, which I am very appreciative of. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going down row by row. Okay, and I started with, well, I guess I'm not doing what it says either, because I did not start with the first navy row. I started with the first ivory or winter white row. Okay, so that's where I started, and then I'll go around. Again, I did not follow directions very well. So here we are. So this is the first winter white or ivory row. So I have I am 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows in, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows in, which puts me right here, right here, getting ready to, I've done this entire row of the leg of the H, and I'm getting ready to go into the hump. So I'm the next row. So I have all of that to do. That is a lot. But I will get it. And I think I will get it easily after Christmas is over and I'm not making Christmas gifts and all of that. Now I will get it made. Now I am by no means saying when I will get all of the ends sewn in, because that is a different story in itself. But it's not hard. It's not difficult to join these hexagons. It's just like I said, it's time consuming. So maybe I will do a tutorial on how to make a hexagon and show you how to join that. But let me tell you the yarn that I'm using for it. Again, I'm using, I love this yarn. It's from Hobby Lobby. This color is called Ivory, which I'm using in place of what they're saying in the pattern for winter white. And then again, I love this yarn, and the color is Navy. So I love this yarn, and Ivory and Navy are the colors that I'm using. And it is 100% acrylic. It is a 4 medium yarn, and I'm pretty sure I am using the hook size, because I asked for, and in the pattern it says to use a 4 medium yarn, a worsted medium, and it says to use, maybe it doesn't say, oh, a 5mm hook. So I'm sure I'm using the 5mm hook that the pattern calls for, even though the yarn calls for, oh, it calls for a 5 medium hook as well. When no, it doesn't. That's if you are knitting. It's a 5. The yarn calls for a 5.5 medium hook, but the pattern calls for a 5 medium hook. So I'm sure I'm using the 5, which is what the pattern calls for. But it's a nice little project. If you have a long winter with not many things to do, I would do that. But sometimes I have too many projects going at a time, and I cannot have too many small projects are fine to have going, but I cannot have too many large projects going. And this blanket is a very large project, and I started another blanket, which I have just put to the side because I've told myself I have to finish this first. And I am excited to finish it because it's going to be a pretty blanket. So I think that is all I have to show you today. I think I had a lot to show you today. I have been very busy with many things, and I think that's just due to Christmas. But I love Christmas. It is busy and it wears me out. But I am excited to be able to share these things with you all. And I like to share the patterns that I find so that you can go and get these patterns as well and use them, and to let you know how difficult it was to use these patterns. These were not that difficult. Very easy. Like I said, the sweaters, the first sweater, the one that I made for myself, when I first looked at it, it was a little overwhelming, and then I thought, I'm just going to take it a piece at a time. So it's what, just take it a piece at a time. If you can double crochet, single crochet, if you can read a pattern, then you are doing very good. If you don't know how to read a pattern, and you would like to see some examples on here of how to read a pattern, comment below and let me know. And maybe I can show you a few things on here on what different symbols mean, different abbreviations mean, that way that you are aware. One thing I want to tell you is that when I'm using a UK pattern, just remember that their crochet terms and US crochet terms differ. So look for a chart that shows you the difference. For instance, our single crochet in US is called a double crochet in UK, which it's the same stitch, it just has a different name. So those are important to know and be aware of as you go through your patterns and you look for different things to make. But I have enjoyed talking with you today. I have a busy week coming up. Today is Sunday. We went to church this morning, me and my family. And then starting tomorrow, I have a meeting after work. Church Wednesday. Thursday is a Christmas program at our school. And then Friday, I believe I'm free. Saturday and Sunday I will be doing some baking, and then our son will be in Monday, so we're excited to see him. But thank you all for watching. I hope that you all have a wonderful week, and if your week is busy, I hope you're able to enjoy it as much as possible, and I thank you for watching. I hope you watch again, and I ask you to please subscribe to this channel. Bye.